What's up everyone, welcome back to our brand new video, and let's get right on with it. Recently I graduated from high school, and looking back, if there was just 10 things I would have killed to know if I was still in high school, here's what they are. And you've probably watched videos like this before, but these are 10 actionable things that you can do tomorrow. They're very specific, so I won't waste your time. Let's get right on with it. And I'm planning to make more content like this in the future. So if this video brings you value, make sure to subscribe, just consider it. And also, the best way to reach me is on my Discord server, so consider joining that in the description. All right, so here at number 1, we have starting a calendar. Now, I know what you guys are thinking. A calendar? Like, a calendar is only a thing that our parents do, or people that work in this sort of environment do. It's like the very definition of an office worker is a calendar. But trust me on this, a calendar is something I started way too late in high school. It's a visual representation of the time you have in your day. And you can never expect to plan anything further unless you actually understand how your day is broken down. Now, here's what I want you to do. First, I want you to create a layout of the fixed commitments you have in a week. So if you're in high school, you're starting school soon, literally write the classes you're going to take, when you have them, and just add that to the calendar. Trust me, you're never going to now wonder, if I have a doctor's appointment, which class am I going to mix? But more than that, this also shows you exactly how much time you have left in the day for everything else. And it's so freeing. One of the greatest things I read was that your mind is for generating ideas, not storing them. So you know what is for storing ideas? Your calendar. When you want to act on anything in your life, just add it to your calendar. It's that simple. And it's really the foundation for the rest of the 10 steps, or a lot of them that I'm going to tell you right now, to start a calendar. All right, now on to number 2. Do not read your damn textbook. Okay, this sounds very strange. Why would you not do the reading? You have to understand that the only reason you're really reading is for a chance to do well on a test. So you have to take information in from the perspective of taking a test, not from a perspective of learning the information. It's a sad reality, it's hard to get your head around, but if you really do want to explore a topic further, just do that on your own time. Here's what I want you to do. Suppose you have a class AP Bio, right? And you have a chapter on mitosis. I've been through it. The mistake I made was I opened the textbook. I spent like maybe 10 hours just reading. It was like 100 pages. It was insane. And I took super detailed notes. I basically remade the textbook in my notebook. And when it came time for the test, I realized I knew this stuff, but I don't know it from a testing perspective. So here's what I want you to do. You're going to read a summary or watch a summary video. Educational YouTube videos are very underrated. Just watch the videos and watch them with intent. Take notes on the videos, not the textbook. Right after this, I want you to go straight to practice problems. Don't even bother trying to read anything more. You're gonna go to practice problems, and the first few problems you're gonna do are gonna be frustrating as hell, because that is now building your intelligence in terms of a testing perspective, not just a knowledge perspective. Now, here's a little tidbit on how to crack any literature or history class. In high school, they would take something as subjective as a literature paper or a history paper and attach an objective grading scale to it. That's a hard thing to do. So the first thing you need to understand is the rubric. Do not bother even starting your paper until you look at the rubric and literally connect the dots between the points on the rubric and your paper. Otherwise, your paper can literally be the best piece of art in the world. You're not going to get a full score on it, because that's not what they grade you on in high school. You should understand that they don't grade you based on the quality of the paper. They grade you based on the quality of your match to the rubric. Here's the next thing. I hate to say this, but very many of these literature and history classes are very politically biased. Right, so I live in California. The bias is left-leaning. I hate politics. I'm not going to talk about this. That's not the point of this point. Regardless, you have to understand that for these classes, your teacher is going to have a view that they want you to support. Let me give you an example. Last year in US history, we were studying the atomic bomb. We had to write a long paper defending a position on whether the US was justified in nuking Japan. Big topic, right? Now, both sides have a very valid point, but that's not what you're going to do. When you get a topic, you're going to go in office hours or something similar, and you're going to just tell your teacher that you're thinking of doing the topic that you think your teacher also agrees with, right? So my history teacher was super left-leaning. I wish what I had done is that I had just gone up to her, told her that, hey, I'm thinking of arguing the position of it was not justified. Can you help me find sources? And I guarantee you, this teacher is going to spoon feed you sources because they agree with that position. They literally want you to argue this way. That's their own bias. You simply have to conform to it. And then the even better thing is after you write the paper in this way, using the sources they gave you, they can't say anything to you. They literally suggested it themselves. And on top of that, it also aligns with what they believe as well. Now, yes, this is an awful way to approach anything academic. It's robotic. It's not any genuine reflection of belief. But here's the thing, right? Are you taking literature and history just to get the grade? Or are you genuinely interested in analyzing the events and arguing a point? Maybe you are. I think it's totally cool if you are. But at that point, again, it's similar to the science classes or class with a lot of reading. You should go out and do this independently because in terms of a high school view, it's just seeing whether you can get the grade or not. All right, so now here with number 4, get your driver's license as soon as humanly possible. Now, as a disclaimer to this, I understand full well that not everyone can afford to get a license. I don't want to hear any comments talking about how out of touch or etc. I might be for claiming that everyone should get a license. If it is within your means, if you can afford to get a license, if you have a possible car you can drive, get a license. If you can't afford it, then this shouldn't even be a consideration. Just skip to the next topic. That's all I'm going to say about that. Even if you bike to school, I still want you to get a license. Even if you think, oh, I don't need to go anywhere, I just go to school, still get a license. Most people become old enough to get a license in about 10th grade or the start of 11th grade. Up until 10th grade, I feel you're kind of chilling. You don't need to really go anywhere unless it's your friend's house and your mom doesn't mind dropping you off. But once you get to 11th grade, at that point, I feel like first, the other kids around you are old enough. Parents just, like how can a parent seriously tell a 16-year-old, like, no, you have to only stay in our house? It just seems wrong from a parent point of view as well. As you participate in different things in school, like a sports team, a club, etc., you're going to rightfully be more involved in those activities, which also means you're going to need to travel to school and other locations a lot more often. For example, your club is having an event across town or your football team is having a meetup somewhere else. You're going to have to drive for that. You cannot possibly bike to these things because they just end up being too far away and it's too inconvenient to bike or ask your parents every single time. Being able to drive when necessary is so convenient. So be responsible, don't drive like crap, and get your license, and you will not regret it. All right, so now on to number 5. Have one goofball friend, okay? What I mean by this, I totally believe in the statement that you become 5 people you surround yourself with most. And having a quality circle of people around you is really important. Thing is, and this is what you probably haven't heard, that it gets overwhelming. High schoolers tend to worry about the same thing. College apps, tests, grade, extracurricular this, job that, etc. It gets overwhelming. Just have one friend you can chill with, bro. It's okay if he doesn't add direct value to your life, he doesn't expand your network, or they don't give you some insane opportunities or something. That's fine. I have a friend. You know what? If I was feeling stressed, I used to pull up to his house. We used to do dumb things, bro. Dumb as in trespass somewhere or play a dumb video game or watch a terrible movie. By dumb, I don't mean drugs or something like that. Okay, I feel just my obligation to say this. A goofball friend is very different than a hazardous friend. Okay, you need to make that distinction. When you hang out with a goofball friend, the effects of that goofball friend are only in that sphere of your influence when you're talking out with them. With a hazardous friend, the impact they have on your life continues into the rest of your life. Don't have friends like that. Use a goofball friend as a way to get some quick relief from the other pressures of your life. And listen, this doesn't mean you go out and just harass them oh, you're so stupid, I only hang out with you because you're stupid. It's not like that at all. Just have a friend who doesn't take things so seriously. Yes, they might not be as high achieving or ambitious as the rest of your friends. So be it. It's important to have a person like this that you can just hang out with, and it's really good. Because I'll assure you, the rest of your friends are gonna just commiserate with you. They're never going to take that relief off your shoulders because they're going to be talking about the exact same thing. So in conclusion, have a goofball friend. It's okay. Hang out with them from time to time when you need it. All right, now on to number 6. Here's how to cleanse your phone. I want you to understand something. Your phone doesn't add value to your life. You're set to believe that it's this important communication tool with other people. Sure, but if I'm being honest, that's maybe 5% of what we use our phones for. The rest is mindless social media. I know this is ironic coming from me because I'm literally making this on YouTube. Honestly, I think long form videos can give a lot of value to your life. What I'm more talking about are these brain rot Instagram reels, to an extent TikTok, to an extent YouTube Shorts, these freaking scrolling platforms. It's a black hole. And also people say that, oh, you can, meet new people on social media and it's good for socializing. But do you really do that? When was the last time time you actually took the initiative to talk to a random person and make a random new friend on social media. Anyway, enough rant about social media. What can you do to fix this? Your phone is the main outlet for this social media. You know, I'm sure you've heard before, oh, just delete Instagram off your phone. Problem solved. No, it's not problem solved. You're going to re-download it within 2 days. So the first step I want you to do is not delete the apps. I want you to hide the apps. So it's a great feature actually now. You can hide things from the home screen and then they'll still be on your phone. You just won't see them. What this does is that when you open your phone, the first thing you see is not just this bombardment of icons and colors for you to click on and waste your time. Here's what my phone looks like. It's a black screen. I have a few critical apps. And then in my home bar, I also have very critical apps, right? Like my calendar, as I mentioned earlier. I have a clock and a calendar work very well together. And then I have a camera and then messages. Once you get it to this point, already it's gonna feel better. You have to actually scroll down and search for the app you wanna open. Here's the next thing I want you to do. I want you to download 2 apps, ClearSpace and Opal. Now, these apps accomplish the same thing. They're both screen time blockers. You have to pay for ClearSpace to have more than one app, and ClearSpace tends to be the most strict app. So I'd say like for the app that takes the most of your time, for me, that's Instagram, right? I have ClearSpace set on Instagram, and then I have Opal, which is definitely less strict than ClearSpace. I have that set on things that are not as addictive, so just YouTube. What's motivating about this is that ClearSpace takes a counter. You don't want to break your streak. It really does have a psychological effect on you. For me, I have a streak over 290 days. And at this point, there's no reason I'd ever break that streak. And listen, it's going to be hard. The first week I downloaded ClearSpace, I deleted the app and I had Instagram unblocked within 1 week. But I had the discipline to re-download it, commit to it. And at this point, I just don't feel that desire for Instagram anymore because it really doesn't add anything. It's just raw dopamine. If there was an actual valuable thing with Instagram, I feel like I'd resist the ClearSpace restrictions a lot more, but I don't. It's so natural for me to not need that app anymore. It's very freeing. I think this will definitely save you at least 2,000 hours across the course of your high school career. All right, guys, I know that one went on for a very long time. Here's how to bring any notes into an exam. Now, another disclaimer for you guys. This is cheating. You're not allowed to bring notes into an exam. But I want you to understand, and this is something I noticed way too late in my high school career, other people are going to cheat. Even if you have the integrity not to, your classmates are going to. It really does affect your psyche when these other people seem to effortlessly get good grades and you just can't figure it out. Oftentimes, it's this method I'm about to show you. Now, if you've taken algebra, I'm sure you have a little calculator called a TI-84. All I'm gonna say is that you can jailbreak this calculator and add the notes app to it. I'm not going to explain how to do it because I don't want you to use this method. The point of this is you should be cognizant that it's this easy to cheat. Teachers are not paid enough to do this much research. In my school, the only safeguard they had for TI-84 notes was you had to clear the RAM of the TI-84. That doesn't do anything against this method. It stores it in the program memory. I'll be honest here, from my perspective, especially in public high school, you're 0.5% away from getting an A, something that will actually genuinely affect the course of your future, and you really think that your last resort is to use this, then it's out there. It takes a simple Google search. The main thing I want to make you guys aware of is that it exists and that your classmates are more than likely using this. So don't compare yourself to them when it's this easy to get away with stuff like bringing notes into exams in high school. So that is all I'm going to say about the notes one. I would not recommend using it. I've never used it, but be aware of it. Here is how to become overpowered in school through school administrators. This is something I've heard literally nobody talk about. I'm sure you've heard the conventional wisdom, oh, get to know your teachers, form a relationship with your teachers, etc. But let me clue you in about how school works. Yes, your teachers do control your grade. And from that perspective, the only thing that really matters to you is that raw grade, then fine. Knowing teachers will get you far enough. But I assume it's not. I assume you want to have a level of knowledge above that. And that's what school administrators get you, because they are the ones that really control the high level things that happen in the school. Who exactly are school administrators? Because you might not even know. Generally in high school, you have a principal, big dog, right? The person who is a public figure. Consider the principal the president of the school. Almost always, you're going to have at least 2 assistant principals below the principal. Consider these guys like the cabinet members of the president. They control very large overextending areas of policy. So if you can get to know one of them, it gives you a great in into more knowledge. Let me give you an example. So I participated heavily in my school's student government. I led all media communications at one point. I spent my first year as videographer. I made all the videos, which is, very fitting. I'm a YouTuber. And the second year I got promoted and I ended up actually managing all media production for the entire school. It was a fun role for sure. Now, overseeing this was one of my school's 4 assistant principals. Here's the first positive I got from this guy. I got a customized letter recommendation. Generally, you have guidance counselors. And if you're not aware yet, when you're applying to colleges, almost every college requires a letter of recommendation from a guidance counselor. Now, here's the problem. These guidance counselors don't care about you. They have 500 other kids they're trying to mess with. They're just going to write their own template and slap it onto their letter of recommendation and ship it off to colleges. But it doesn't have to come from a school guidance counselor. A letter of recommendation can also come from a school administrator. For me, I got my letter written by a school administrator. He did only 3 other letters that entire year. Now, which letter do you think is going to be better? Obviously, the one with 3. It's going to be personalized. It's going to go into detail about why my contribution to the school mattered. From a purely transactional standpoint, that's one reason to know them. Knowing these school administrators is almost like having a VIP pass to the rest of the school, especially if you do a lot of work for the school. For example, you join the school leadership class or something. School administrators almost develop an obligation to return something in favor to you. I got into any football game completely for free. It was completely off the books. It was probably not allowed. And I can almost guarantee that the same thing exists for you. I'll give you another example. Once in second semester, I used some AI on a paper. Now, here's where my relationship with my lit teacher didn't matter. She's required to report me for that, right? Which is, fair enough. I messed up. Guess what? It got erased, right? I met with the assistant principal and he literally just called it a speeding ticket. He was like, yeah, you know what? I'll treat this like a speeding ticket. Your first offense, it's whatever. I know that you're a good person. I know that you've done so much for the school. So we'll just take this off the books right now and don't worry about it. This could have been reported as a cheating incident, which is taken very seriously in high school. Nothing. It was erased. Knowing these people matters because assistant principals actually have that kind of power. Another example I'll give you, I have so many. I led my school's TV news program, right? We had bi-weekly news on everything going on in our community and the school. We got a room all to ourselves in the library to make a full-fledged recording studio. And that was not possible by knowing teachers. That was only possible by knowing a school administrator. I'd say that if you really are just in school to get the grade and get out, it's optional. But if you really want to do anything more than that, especially engage with the school in any meaningful way, one of the best ways to level up your experience is to get to know school administrators. Here's how to start a school club without any sort of approval. Clubs are very important. I think a lot of you might want to start a club to get into a good college or just because you like something. Now, what's most likely going to happen is you're either going to have other students, like club commissioners, that are going to check your club, or a panel of teachers. Now, one option is to try and get to know these people. Problem is, it's like a literature class. They have objective criteria for something as subjective as a club, so you can know these people all you want. It doesn't matter because they're still going to have to be forced to object your club to the same objective criteria that they used in their internal documents. And the only way I know this is because I was in the student government. And that's why just screw the system, okay? Literally nothing is stopping you from going up to a random teacher saying, hey, this is a cool club I want to start. Would you mind sponsoring it? Only thing you'll really lose out on from a practical standpoint is you might not get a page on your school's website and you might not get a bank account sponsored by the school. I'll give you an example. I wanted to start a biking club. I applied to the school. The club commissioner was literally one of my friends. And this is how I realized that it doesn't matter how well you know the committee of clubs. My club got turned down because of liability, right? It's cycling. Someone could fall off their bike and die. I don't care. I just reached out. I started my club anyway. It became one of the most active clubs on campus. We had weekly group rides for months with over 10 students showing up to each one. We went all over my city. And that was all without a speck of official approval. And guess what? I still put on my college apps. I still said all of the great things we accomplished with that club because at the end of the day, having this stamp of approval from your school means nothing. if your club doesn't actually do something meaningful. Don't just give up on your club idea if you get rejected by your school. Start it anyway. Reach out to a teacher, find students who are interested, and literally just start it for the heck of it. And it'll reach the same resolution. It'll still have the same impact on your life. You'll still accomplish what you want. Finally, that brings me to number 10. Here's how to always make plans get out of the group chat. You're never going to say these plans are just stuck in the group chat forever. In high school, your friends and you're going to be busy. It's going to be hard for you guys to find a time when you're both available. Now, I've been working on my own business this summer, and this is how I actually learned of calendar apps. This just came full circle. It's so poetic, right? I talked about starting a calendar at the first point, and now we're talking about how you can use your calendar through calendar booking apps. Now, that sounds complicated. A calendar booking app. What does that mean? All that means is you can send a link to someone and they can choose time you're available on your calendar. This is one called Calendly. It's completely free. Suppose you want to meet up with your friend. You both have busy schedules. You just send them your calendar link. They choose a time when they're available. And since you have everything in your calendar, they'll also know when you're available. So they literally just choose a slot in your calendar and you guys can meet up. And you know what? You can even get your friends to start their own calendars too. When your whole friend group has calendars set up, that is the ultimate friend group. You can meet up the most out of any friend group in the school because you'll all be so in line with how much time you guys have. I use it for booking client calls, but you can use it for booking with your friends too. Hopefully this brought you some speck of value. I tried to make these things as specific and actionable as I possibly could. I don't think I've seen many of these tips anywhere else. If you like this video, yet again, please consider subscribing. It does help me out a lot. And if you want to ask me anything, my Discord server is there. It's the easiest way to reach me. And I'll see you guys in the next video. See ya.